It is time to keep it real in San Diego real estate. Keeping it real with Jay Lee. What's going on, brother? Good to see you, my man.
You too, brother.
Hair looks great, though, by the way.
Appreciate
I know
you.
you wanted to check on that. So we want to talk about trying to figure this market out, man. You know, and like looking for leading indicators, some other markets. I know you have some insight, some inside info on what's happening in Arizona. So tell us what's going on there, and we'll figure it out.
All right. So as you know, like San Diego market it fluctuates a lot, especially with the recessions that we've had in the past and what people are calling a recession now. One of the biggest things that we have to look at in real estate, Arizona is always the first to get hit with anything. The price jumps, the low interest rates, and then now, just quite the opposite. So if you look at San Diego real estate, you're gonna see price drops across the market. Houses are starting to stay on the market a little bit longer. Well, here's some big news. So a few weeks ago, I was talking to a really good friend of mine he's probably the number one agent in all, actually he is the number one agent in all of Arizona. He himself owns over 30% of the market share. Does around 400 listings a month.
That's insane.
Insane, right? Well, they had 3,500 listings one week. The next week, they jumped to 14,000 listings.
That's insane.
In a week. Then they had 30% price cuts across the state.
Wow.
He had 21 escrows fall out in 1 week because they're in escrow on this house for 600,000, and all the other houses in the market dropped 30%. So guess what? They cancel and they move on to a different property. So that's what's happening right now in Arizona. And that's a good leading indicator of what could happen in San Diego. So I would say the peak time to list your home was probably March. Like you missed it. So we went up to the peak, we've passed the peak, and now we're starting to come down a little bit. So if they're thinking about listing their home, they want to do it sooner rather than later, because if you want to sell it and get the most for your money, now's the time. Because like you just said the other day on your other video, interest rates went up and then they dropped back down a little bit, right? So they got a little bit more affordable. So it's time for people to make moves.
Yeah. It's buyers have been sort of slow to the trigger. You know, there's a lot of people who are interested in real estate still.
Right.
I'm talking to a lot of people that are like, yeah, we want to buy, but it's not. It went from, yeah, we want to buy as soon as possible to we're going to buy sometime in the next year.
Right.
We want to get prepared for it. So there could be sort of a chasm in demand, you know, that we're approaching right now. And the question in San Diego is just, you know, can we get inventory? Like in Arizona, there's a lot more inventory opportunity. There's a lot more new construction, right? It's probably equally as transient as San Diego, but not as much of a desirable destination. Like if you had the choice, all the money in the world, you're gonna go to San Diego or Arizona.
Over Arizona.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have some things they don't have, I think, in that regard, but I think correct. A real beach?
A real beach?
They have beaches there, but it ain't.
Do they?
They do, yeah,
Pools,
to a lake.
Pools don't count.
No offense, Arizona's great. We love y'all. But the reality is we have something here. We have a better product here.
Yeah, definitely.
And we don't, it's harder for inventory to get up there because you don't have as much new construction competition, which does really play a factor when the market tightens, you know, because those builders will sometimes create incentives or do crazy things. And, you know, then the resale market has to match, or if the resale market gets hit, then the builders have to match, and they kind of have that back and forth. Whereas here, it's really pretty much a resale market.
Right.
And so that it's really up to the homeowners to dictate how desperate am I to sell my home. And so it's a little bit different. I don't think we have those kind of figures. Like we don't have, how many homes do we have for sale? Like 4,000 or something in San Diego County?
Not much.
It's still really low.
It's low. We are seeing a bunch more inventory hit the market though.
It is coming.
Like I just picked up 3 listings last night.
And how did those conversations go? Are sellers, are they FOMOing, or is it like?
No.
No?
So, I mean, as you know, most of my clients are military.
Yeah.
Right? So what month is it right now?
Yeah, it's PCS season, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody's getting ready to PCS, everybody's moving, transferring. So a lot of my past clients and referrals are coming in from, you know, military folks that are taking off, getting out of the area, people that are getting out and getting out of Dodge because they don't like the cost of living here in San Diego. So that's probably one of the biggest selling points that I've had for people. So, but no, the inventory is starting to hit. So those days of $100,000, $150,000 over list,
Yeah.
that's gone.
Those people are probably still going to do well on their homes, though.
They're going to do well, yeah, but you're not going to have 40 people bidding up over $100,000 on a home that's $600,000 or $700,000.
You're not going to dictate the terms as much, probably.
I mean, you're still going to dictate because there's not as many listings available, but you're not going to have like I said, you're not going to have that, we'll take it as is, no appraisal, 150K over, 14-day close, right? It's going to be more of a traditional transaction. You're still going to get a bidding war because there's still not enough inventory, but you're not going to get that outrageous amount over what you're thinking you were going to get.
All contingencies removed.
Correct.
And all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, that's just not happening anymore. And one of the good things is, especially for our VA buyers, is sellers aren't getting the offers that they used to. So VA buyers are starting to actually be able to get in there and really compete, even though they're not putting a down payment down, because the sellers know, as long as they have an educated agent, that they're not going to see those numbers. They're not going to see those waived contingencies like they were before. Yeah. So that's really important to know, especially for our VA buyers and sellers.
Yeah, yeah. For a while there, you had to have appraisal gap or waive appraisal, or you just had no chance. And that function is gone, which is great. I'm seeing FHA buyers getting in, VA buyers getting in. It's a great opportunity for VA buyers. And by the way, listing agents, look at those VA offers because the VA buyer has the lowest payment of everybody. Unless somebody's putting a huge down payment or something like that. The VA buyer is going to have no mortgage insurance. They're going to have the lower interest rate. So it's much easier for them to, make sense of what's going on there. If somebody else is putting a huge down payment, of course, it could be different. But your typical minimum down payment buyers, your minimum down payment conventional buyer, they're going to be paying way more for that house.
Right.
Much higher payment than the VA buyer is. So when you're looking for longevity in your escrow, those are things that are going to get revisited. How much is our monthly payment? How much is our monthly payment? I've been noticing buyers in escrow are asking for a lot more details than they have in the past. Right. What is our payment exactly? What is the estimate for this? How much is that going to be?
Right.
They're a lot more investigative now, whereas, as you mentioned, 6 months ago, let's say, they would have just been like, can we get it? We'll do whatever it takes. And so that's a good thing. That's a good sign. They should be doing that due diligence.
Exactly.
So I'm happy to see it, but it is a fact, and it's something that has to be dealt with. When you're coaching those new listings that you got there, what are you telling them about what to expect or how to price the home? Is there any kind of advice that we can maybe just borrow from you here for our audience and kind of say, okay, hey, this is where we're at in this market?
For sure. So one of the biggest things that you want to do as a seller is you never want to price at the current market. You always want to beat the market. So what that means is you have to look at what the trend is prior to you going live and then try to figure out where that is at and is it going up or is it going down? So if it's going down, like today's current market is, not by a lot, of course, it's just not going 150K above.
Right.
Right? So you're not going to price your home thinking, okay, if we put it here, then we're going to get 150K up. Well, if you put it there, you might get 20K, right? Maybe 30. So we always try to price below the market. So for instance, if I have a home and I'm selling it, and in my neighborhood, homes are going for 1.2, 1.3, right? I'm not going to sell it at 1.2, 1.3. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the market at a mil flat. And then that'll give me more attention in the neighborhood because everybody goes, that's the cheapest house. I got to see it first.
Yep, that's the best deal.
Then people fall in love with it and they go, oh my God, I have to have it. So more people, create a frenzy of buyers. It gets more offers on the table and therefore it jacks my price up. So just being cognizant of that, understanding how that marketing aspect works. Don't always try to be greedy and go, oh, I want, well, everybody else is selling for 1.2, 1.3, I'm gonna sell for 1.4. Your house is gonna sit there and what you're gonna do is you're gonna price yourself out of the market and you're gonna sell my house first, right? When you overprice your house, you're helping the other sellers in the area sell their homes before you. And that's one of the biggest things that people need to be educated on because
so pricing right now.
Pricing.
That's the key.
Pricing, because there's only 3 things that'll sell a home, right? Price, location, and condition, right? I can't change the location of a home. I can't pick it up and move it, but I can change the price and I can change the condition. Now, if you're changing the condition, you're spending money. So it's essentially you losing money on the deal. If you put $20,000 into your home and you take a month to do it and the market changes, and now you have to look at how much you owe and how much you spent, and now the market has dropped a little bit, you've just spent $20,000 and you just lost money on your home. Sometimes it's just best to leave it alone, not mess with it, and let the market dictate how much you're going to get for your home.
Yeah, or maybe do some of those little things that don't require
little things. Maybe touch up paint.
Yeah,
things like that. If there's anything like majorly broken, like you have a broken window, go ahead and fix that because the appraiser is going to call that out anyway.
Right.
But let me upgrade my kitchen. Let me do new tile on the floor. Let me get a new roof. Let me get solar. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Stay away from that.
Yeah.
And I try to tell my clients, just If your house is fine and you just need touch-up paint, just do the touch-up paint.
Clean it up maybe a little
Yeah.
bit, to put a few
Have
things
a
in
deep
storage.
clean.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. Throw everything in the garage, you're good to go.
And so it's kind of like the 99-cent burger concept, right? It's like, how did that happen, right? You go back and look at the history of that. Well, they were $1. And then somebody was like, I'm going to be cheaper than that, 99 cents. And it worked. And since then, literally everything's priced like $5.99, $4.99, $1.99. And so like that's when you're saying just beat the market. It's like look at where your competition is.
Right.
And then let's be the best house, because if we're the best price house amongst our competition, then everyone for sure is going to come see our house first.
100%.
That for sure.
Yeah,
Every buyer wants a deal.
When we have the open house, it's swamped. And the other houses on the street are like, how come no one's coming to our house? Well, they get the people afterwards, but some of the people fall in love and they're like, I don't want to leave. I want this house. We're at the offer right now. You know, and it's all marketing. You know, the realtor, we don't dictate the price. You, the seller, doesn't dictate the price. The buyer dictates the price. What someone is willing to pay for a service or an object, they're the one that's setting the pricing. Because how valuable it is to them is what they're willing to pay. So we have to make it more valuable to them so that they'll pay more.
What do you think about range pricing? I've started to see that come up again. Is that a strategy you would employ?
I would never do that.
Okay.
I think it's just stupid. Like if you're saying I want to do
$5.99 to $6.29.
$6.29, the listing agent's going to be able to tell you, oh, well, we're looking for $6.29. Then just put it at $6.29. Like, what are you doing? And half the websites, they'll only show the high price on the website anyway.
That's true.
So your whole tactic of trying to get people into the house, it makes no sense. Basically, you're telling all the buyers exactly what your seller wants. I need a minimum of this, but I'd really like to get this, right? So everyone's going to come in at the lowest number, and you'll get one lucky guy that'll come in and give you $5,000 over.
Yeah. Oh, and what about just on the buy side? Like, it's been a couple years since we've had a situation where buyers could even offer less than list and stuff like that, or ask for closing costs and those kinds of things. I'm starting to see some of that happen successfully. You know, is that something that you should consider as a seller as well as a way to kind of sweeten the deal?
I mean, one of the things is you just really have to look at what they're offering before you start considering that stuff. And that's my job as a listing agent, is to make sure that my sellers know that, hey, if we're willing to do this and you know your carpet is crap, like it has stains and it has holes and all that kind of stuff, but you don't want to fix it, give them a carpet credit, right? Or if you know something's wrong with the home, put that in there. Hey, we'll give a credit of this much money for this off the jump, so that the buyer's agents see that and they go, oh, okay, so we know it needs new carpet, but they're willing to credit us this much money, you know, in the end, at the end of the deal, to cover that. You know, it will upfront let the buyers know that, hey, there is something wrong with the home, or there's something that's not as aesthetically pleasing, that you're willing to come out the pocket for to help them with, but you just don't have the money to do it.
Got it.
Right? So we're going to pay you out of escrow.
Gotcha.
So it just, you know, it does that. But as far as getting homes less than list price, I haven't really seen that.
Okay.
Not here anyway. Like I just saw one in Florida, actually. The agent was trying to get a $15,000 credit because the house didn't have AC. What? Is it required by law? No. Yeah, have fun with that. But they need it. It's South Florida. Okay. Then your buyers can buy it. We want a $15,000 credit. The house is like $150,000. Get out of here. Like,
That's hysterical. but it's true. You should have AC in the house, you know?
Okay.
But hey, that's
if
part of
it
the price.
doesn't, somebody else lived with it without AC. Guess what? They're still alive.
Yeah.
Because they're selling the home.
Yeah. You see that here more than there, you know? Like, because I think better sea breeze here and less humidity than in Florida.
Way less humidity.
Way less humidity. And so that a lot of times is the reason you need the air on anyway. But that's hilarious. So what you're basically saying is, hey, if you are a seller and you're navigating these offers that might be coming in a little bit different, not all the overbids and all that crazy stuff, kind of go case by case and just be realistic, because buyers are all of a sudden very realistic.
Very realistic.
So just be very realistic back with them, be fair, but try to get ahead of some of those things you know are going to be an issue. The broken window, the hole in the carpet,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. You know, a lot of times what we'll do is if the house isn't turnkey, what we'll do is we'll come in and we'll do a pre-inspection. Like I'll have an inspector come, do a whole inspection, list out everything, and I'll know the hot items. right? Oh, this, these are all problems. And, you know, we can nip those in the bud before we even list the home so that we don't have those issues later. You know, the little things that are like, oh, there's a scratch on the wall. This light switch doesn't go to anything. Cool. Why doesn't it go to anything? Right? Is there anything behind it? Is there no wires? Like, why is it there? You know, like, I've run into houses like that. Like, you know, the buyer will be like, hey, what does this light switch go to? I don't know.
Good question.
Yeah. Let me ask the seller. Oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't go to anything. It used to go to one of the outlets, but we took it out. Oh, okay. Because we put in a ceiling fan. You don't need it anymore.
Right.
Because, you know, back in the day, a lot of the bedrooms, they didn't have lights.
I know.
You had to flip the switch, and there'd be one outlet that was upside down to let you know that that one was connected to the switch, and then you could put your lamp to it, right? Well, when people swapped that out for like a ceiling fan and they used one of the other switches, now that switch is just dead. It doesn't do anything. So it's just sometimes good to know.
I have one of those in my house. I know exactly what you're talking about. I just realized it's upside down, and that was how we knew that that was the right one. I did guess and check. That's how I figured it out.
So it goes to the light switch. Yeah.
Brother, I appreciate your insights. It's been amazing having you. So great to see you. Jay Lee, everybody. Hey, share this with your friends. Let's help make them smarter than everyone else. So see you soon.